Greetings everyone, Squall Snake here, and today I'm going to go over what's currently in my Neo Geo Pocket Color collection. Why? Well, it's one of my favorite systems. I think it's highly underrated and a lot of great games for it, and just kind of went underappreciated. So to kind of get started, this is the Neo Geo Pocket Color itself. This is the original model. This is the first model that was available. It's this kind of gray silver color, and I actually got it with the bundle. As you can see here, it comes with Sonic. I bought it at Game Craze for $100. Remember Game Craze? Yeah, no one else does either. So SNK paired up with Sega to bundle this Neo Geo Pocket Color with the Sonic game, and this Sonic game is probably one of my favorite Sonic games, if not my favorite Sonic game. So check it out, Sonic Pocket Adventure, if you ever get the opportunity to. Later, SNK started releasing different colors, kind of like what Nintendo did with the Game Boy Color. And here is the stone blue version. There was a bunch of other different versions as well, different colors. So on the system itself, you of course have the analog stick, which is clicky. Really nothing else like it. No other analog stick is like it today. You got the power button, you got the speaker here, you got your A, B, and option buttons. The option button kind of acted as the start button. On the bottom here, I don't know if you can see this, but you got volume control, as well as a headphone jack, as well as an output for an AC adapter if you didn't want to run batteries. So back here it would run on two AA batteries, and you get about anywhere from 20 to 40 hours, which is actually really a long time to play games on a couple of batteries. And then here you would open this up, and there's a watch battery that gets stored in here to save specific data like time. There's a calendar feature, and you kind of get your horoscope if you wanted to turn on the system with no game inside. But and then at the top here you have a slot for a link cable, or if you wanted to actually link it up to the Dreamcast. So kind of getting into my library here, so we got Sonic, of course. A lot of great games for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. If you like fighting games, this is undoubtedly one of the best systems to actually get, which is pretty crazy because normally a handheld system you don't think is good for fighting games. I have King of Fighters R2 as well as Match of the Millennium. Match of the Millennium, great game, probably the best fighting game on the system. If you can only play one game on Neo Geo Pocket Color, specifically a fighting game, this is going to be it. You can link it, if you can actually find another player that has this and a copy of the game. Great game, bunch of mini games. It pairs up Capcom with SNK fighters. Great fighting game. Definitely want to check this out. And just real quick about the packaging of Neo Geo Pocket Color games is, unlike Game Boy Color games or other handheld games where you kind of pop it up from the side, Neo Geo Pocket games open up like a book. And then on inside you have the game itself, which are on these cartridges, of course, and then they are stored in these plastic containers similar to the original Game Boy games. And then here you have the instruction manual, which is always stored on the left-hand side here. Nice color instruction books, and that's kind of been the staple for all Neo Geo Pocket Color games. So kind of moving on, from fighting games, there's a lot of other fighting games on the system. You have Biomotor Unitron and its sequel to Biomotor Unitron 2. If I had to compare it to something, I would say this is basically the Pokemon of the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Instead of collecting pocket monsters and little creatures and things like that, you instead collect robots and robot parts, and you kind of put them together and you train them and they get more powerful as you go. Dark Arms Beastbuster 99, great game. I don't think really nobody has ever played this game, but if you have the chance, check it out. If Biomotor here is kind of like the Pokemon of the system, Dark Arms here is probably like the Zelda of the system. It's an RPG. It's an action RPG. You can kind of power up your gun and things like that. Obviously, you fight demons if you couldn't tell from the cover. Great game. Definitely want to check that out. A lot of sports games too for the system. I have Neo Turf Masters here, which is the golf game for the system. And next to Mario Golf on Game Boy Color, even Game Boy Advance, this is probably my next favorite game. There's no RPG elements like the Game Boy Color version had of Mario Golf and Mario Advance, but In terms of play control, this game played great. I really like this game. There's a couple of arcade Neo Turf Masters, but the Neo Geo Pocket Color is just, it plays so well with the clicky analog stick. So definitely check this game out. Baseball Stars, fantastic game. I am a huge fan of RBI Baseball. I think it's probably the best baseball game ever made. And this is the next closest thing to it. You can play two-player if you can link it up. Controls just like it. You can move your batter around in the batter's box. Cartoony characters. Great baseball game. There's also a Dynamite Sluggers game, which is okay, but Baseball Stars I think is still the best. Now, at the end down here, you have Metal Slug 1 and Metal Slug 2 Second Mission, and I think these are probably one of the highlighting games, definitely some of the best games on the system. Metal Slug 1, while it's definitely not bad, it's still a fantastic game. It's an amazing game, actually. Metal Slug 2 is just so much better. Better graphics, better gameplay. Metal Slug 2 is probably, actually, you know what? It is my favorite Metal Slug game of all time. I actually have here the limited edition hardcover case. There was actually a select few Neo Geo Pocket games that came in a hardcover cases of the price tag. I paid almost $50 for this thing back in the day. And so this is a nice case, nice collectible. This game's a little harder to come by. Then on the end down here, I have a bunch of accessories for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. So believe it or not, there were a lot of accessories for it. So up here on the top here, this is actually the Nyko Shock and Rock. I have the paperwork for it right here. But basically what this is you plug in your Neo Geo Pocket Color inside, and you get a little power icon when it's plugged in. It then converts it to stereo sound, which is pretty crazy. But the big kicker here is, so besides having a bunch of features on the bottom, like you can plug in your headphones and your AC adapter. The big kicker here is right here. You get a rumble feature. I don't know if my camera could focus on that. But this thing, you actually get a vibration feedback. So if you're playing a game like Metal Slug, and if you get hit, the whole system will shake, which is pretty crazy. I have no idea how this thing works, but it works, and it actually works surprisingly well. I think I picked this thing up back in the day. It's got nice rubber grips on the back for maybe like $10 on clearance or something like that. Definitely worth it. If you can track one of these things down, you will not be disappointed. Actually, surprisingly, works well. I have an AC adapter here, so if you didn't want to run batteries, you can just plug this bad boy into the wall. You're good to go. Then over here, too, I also have a worm light. Remember the worm lights? If you had a Game Boy Color, you probably had one of these things, a worm light, where you would actually plug it into the Game Boy Color's link slot, and you'd get a light. Here, it works the same way. You actually charge this up, so you plug this in instead of running AA batteries, and then you actually plug it into this thing, the light, and you get light on your Neo Geo Pocket, so you can actually play in the dark. Works pretty well, considering what it is and what it does. It's not bad. Nyko is known for making these unique pieces. Same thing over here too. Have a screen guard, which acts as a magnifying glass. So you'd attach this to the top of your Neo Geo Pocket, and then you plug it in. There's actually a light. I don't have any batteries in here right now, but you get a light that shines down on the screen, and you can play this in the dark with the magnified screen. That also works pretty well. It adds a little bit of weight. It's a little clunky, obviously, a little big, but it gets the job done. And finally here, I actually have a Neo Geo Pocket link cable. Have you ever seen one of these things? Probably not. These things are pretty rare. Same thing with the Dreamcast cable, if you can track one of those down. But this allows you, just like Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, the original Game Boy, of course, you plug this end into one Neo Geo Pocket and the other end for multiplayer gaming. So you can play games like Match in the Millennium, Reverse Mode, King of Fighters. There's even, Dark Arms had a, swapping of the pieces. Same thing with Biomotor. You could swap robot pieces and things like that, just like Pokemon. Of course, you can play head-to-head in Baseball Stars. So good to know, good to have if you, are more of a serious Neo Geo Pocket player, can play 2 games at once. Some other things, I had in my inventory at one time. I had Pac-Man, which is a pretty terrible version of Pac-Man. Don't play it. But other games that I wish, I could have to kind of complete my collection here. Maybe Card Fighters. Card Fighters is probably the one game that's glaringly absent from a good Neo Geo Pocket collection. If you can track that down, it was actually ported to DS. And so besides Card Fighters, another good fighting game to look at is Rockman Fighters, which was a basically like Mega Man. You know, when you go to the end of the Mega Man level and you fight a boss, well, that's basically the entire game. So you can definitely check that out. Unique game. Pocket Tennis Color is okay. Another game that I wish I had was Ogre Battle. There's an Ogre Battle game actually for the Neo Geo Pocket, but of course it's in Japanese, so really hard to play if you don't have some kind of a translation guide. Some puzzle games too, like Bust a Move is a great game. Puzzle Link and Puzzle Link 2 are some solid puzzle games. Facile, if you can track down Facile, that's also a really great strategy game that I wish I had in my collection here. But anyway, my name is Squall Snake. Thanks for watching. This is my Neo Geo Pocket Color collection. You can find me at mygamer.com and squallsnake.com. Thanks for watching.